Today we have Joe Savelli, who is the Director of Culinary at Malt Products. Hi, Joe. Welcome.
Hi, great to be
Hey,
here.
recently I took a tour of your plant and it was absolutely mind-blowing to see how malt is produced. For the people who are new to your company, what is Malt Products and what do you do there?
Well, so Malt Products is a family business and manufactures and distributes natural, nutritious sweeteners. We have been in business since 1950, and we're on actually the third generation owners. They started producing barley from local farmers to into malt extract back in 1950 to supply the local bagel shops of the New York, New Jersey area, the authentic bagels. And it really started with just mom and pop bakeries. And now, in the decades since then, that we've grown into an international company offering not just malt extracts, but all different types of natural sweeteners, grain extracts. And I am the director of culinary here, one of the newer hires here. I like to think of myself as quite a baby here, considering that a lot of my team members have been here for maybe 20, 30 plus years. I think the next senior person is 9 years. So I'm coming on 1 year, catching up.
Well, congratulations. It's wonderful to see new blood, right? What fascinates you about these products? I mean, what specialty does malt bring to the bakery world?
So I'll say, especially coming on, I was probably like majority of people thinking, you know, not knowing how wide and vast the different types of malt products are, how many molasses or how many different sweeteners and natural sweeteners that you can get. And what's really interesting about and fascinating about malt is just how wide our portfolio is, and of all those different sweeteners, all the different levels of malts we can produce in-house. We can dry, we can brew, we can pack, and then we could also the customization that we have with our state-of-the-art facility to do different blends and meet different specs. To really, malt's not just for the bagels, as I said, or for the pretzels. It could be in dressings, it could be in marinades, it could be in sauces, it could also be, of course, throughout the baking industry, cookies, breads, all different items. And then, I mean, our name is Malt Products, but then there's the whole other side of the business with the cane rights, the oat extracts, the molasses, rice syrups, tapiocas, and then with some of our new equipment out of the plant, being able to get dry versions of all those products.
Interesting. You have molasses too. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because we don't necessarily equate molasses to a malt company.
Yeah, so we have a lot of different molasses, and actually, so at Malt Products we have a couple different subcategories, and you may hear me say cane right, malt right, tap right, oat right, rice right. Those are kind of all our parents. So cane right is where all our molasses fall under. And I think molasses isn't just blackstrap, what goes in gingerbread or molasses cookies or barbecue sauces, baked beans. I think those are your kind of standard ideas of that, that glass jar that sits in your cupboard, probably for maybe been there for 5 years on end and hard to open the lid. But molasses is so much more complex than just blackstrap. And with our facility and with our sourcing capabilities, we can bring in just a wide array of different molasses from different sources. Because we could source from all over and bring them into our facility, we can then blend all those different complex flavored molasses to make very customizable finished product molasses. And molasses, from your fancy to your brown sugar molasses to your golden trims to your blackstrap, is all kind of comes from a different process of the sugar refining when you take out from the sugar. We could source it from all those different stages. So as I just mentioned, golden trim is kind of our lightest top molasses. And if I probably a good time to show it as I have it off camera,
Oh,
of course.
yeah. Great.
So I bet not your typical looking molasses, very kind of
Interesting. You would
golden
think
amber.
molasses is a little more thick and dark. What's so special about this, and what's the application for this
Yeah, I
product?
think actually, hopefully you can see it pours like
Oh, just like honey.
very thin. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what it's there for. It's to be a in competition. The honey, it has a very honey type aroma, flavor. It's also a much more cost effective product, and it's much more unadulterated. So, a lot of the honey industry, you never know exactly the source of the honey. It could be a blend. It could be, that this is 100% golden trim molasses, as we call it, from the US. And its applications are really anywhere you use honey. So it could be used as a one-to-one replacement. The honey, you could even, I use it a lot of times in one-to-one replacement as a simple syrup in cocktails, dressings. I've done honey barbecue wings with it, or honey quote unquote golden barbecue wings is what I
Yeah, I
call
mean,
them.
sometimes you need to think about the vegan world too, right? Like, people who are developing vegan baked product wants that honey, sweet, whole wheat bread kind of aroma. This would be perfect for it because, the vegan community just doesn't like to use honey. But most recipes that require browning, this would be a great product. And especially bars, bars would be an excellent product to use in because of that humectancy, because of that adhesiveness. So yeah, that's a really great product there, Joe. So let's talk about your malt extracts. And you have both the liquid malt and the dry malt, isn't it?
Mhm.
And bring me through your product array for the liquid malt.
Yeah, so with our capabilities in our facility, we can make all different malts from light malt, golden, amber, dark, and black. And so it's just kind of a rainbow of different malts, and anything from light, which is that kind of more toasted malt flavor, all the way to black, which is you typically use more as a charcoal. So that looks like our light malt or amber malt, maybe going there,
This
gold.
would be the amber malt.
Okay,
Yeah, look at
testing
this
my
thing. This is
my
thick
eyes.
stuff. This
Yeah,
is
so
stuff.
it is definitely a thick syrup. It's a great flavor. I started to grow on me so much where I kind of will eat a spoonful here and there, which it used to be used as kind of the gut health from
Yes,
back in the day.
I mean,
Spoonful of
right. Like,
malt.
it's rich in iron. It's rich in all this, different nutrients. Definitely. I also remember eating malt when I was growing up. And yes.
Yeah, antioxidants, all a whole lot of things. And it's as far as using sugars and sweeteners, it's mainly maltose, much better choice than like your high fructose corn syrups, which are all mainly fructose. So it's a great option for when you're going to add sugars into or natural sweeteners in. It's really your most health benefited natural sweetener, because it's not empty. It's not an empty calorie sweetener, or it's bringing other things to the table, to the recipe, to your product.
Recently, I was at your plant in Dayton, Ohio, touring the facility, and I was very impressed by how clean and how well organized the whole place is. Can you tell us a little bit more about your malting plant?
Yes, so it is. Yeah, every time I go there, it looks like it just opened the day before. So they keep it spotless. The equipment looks like it's only been used for a week at a time.
Oh, yeah.
We have an incredible team there of extremely experienced brewmasters from all throughout the industry that are now leading our malting process. And their team is just the attention to detail, the sanitation, the quality of the product, the consistency is
And it's
all
so
driven by
important
them.
too because it's a process, time and temperature control. And if you don't have the right people watching these parameters, the quality of your products really will not be consistent.
Mhm.
So you're right. It's important to have experienced brewmasters in your plant working on malting this product. And I saw a lot of sanitation SOPs, which really impressed me. because the malting process needs to be really, really, really clean.
Yes. Yep.
And I realized that you have a new a process in there.
So in October, we brought in a new, so one of the big things about the plant is we also have a lab that could do smaller scales of our full production test batch, get like customized more. And we brought in a lab masher that helps replicate the full large scale production. So with that, we're able to really kind of go outside the box and test new ingredients, new products that we could possibly bring to our product line, or new um, custom built items without having, a lot of times with big production plants, you'd have to do a full run or stop things down. We could continue to try new things while our plant is running at full capacity.
Correct.
One of the big things about it is the enhanced setup enables us to test an exceptionally wide variety of raw ingredients for not only determine the feasibility of the production of new products, but also develop new profile samples for new products. So it gives us much more ability to try new exciting things. So it could go to, once our malt is brain made, goes down to, kind of brings down a little bit of cooling, held in tanks. It could either go to packaging from there, which is pails, drums, tankers, or we could go to one of our newest pieces of equipment. It's a $15 million new vacuum belt dryer, as they call it. So it is a lot of places use what they call spray dryers, drum dryers. This is it's a pretty amazing piece of equipment to see. Actually, it looks like maybe a submarine or something that could take you into deep space. But
Right,
it's
and I want to add too, with drum dryers, it's a relatively cheap process, but you actually do denature the product, and you really do create a different version of the original product, right? So this is why
yeah,
I'm fascinated with your vacuum process, is because whatever you promised on the liquid product, it's probably going to be seen. The properties are probably going to be seen and not degraded in the dry product. Is that true?
Yeah, so the biggest benefit of going with a vacuum dryer versus the other ways of the drum or the spray is you could dry at much lower temperatures. So when we bring in our products, say especially our light dry malts or our goldens, because we're taking out the moisture at lower temperatures because of the pressure that we're doing the drying at, you're not denaturing, as you just said, the nutrients, but you're also not adding any burnt notes or any unnecessary colors. So our light malt is truly light, and our amber malt is truly amber, and so forth and so on. But it also gives us so much more. Like when you go to our facility and you see our experts working with the dryer, there's so many little things you could change, and settings you could do, times of the belts, how it sprays out, temperatures, and there's 6 different zones with different temperatures. So not only can we make a light malt, we could make even a customized, specialized light malt for a particular product or application, because of how efficient this machine is and how state of the art it is. And it really is it's a really cool process to watch, and super interesting to be there to see how this all works out.
So that's true, because look at how light this malt is. And this is the um, dry malted barley extract. And look at how pale it is. So if you were to use this in your formulation, you aren't going to add too much darkening to your particular product.
Just the right amount of sweetness, a little bit of maltiness, toasted notes, all those great elements.
Correct. Correct. Recently, we did a sugar reduction webinar. You presented your product as a possible contender for sugar reduction. Can we, dive into it a little bit? How would people do that?
Yes, so that was actually, we have one of our custom blends we call Bar Right. It's specifically formulated to reduce sugars in like health bars, protein bars, different items like that. It's a blend of our oat extract and our it could be rice syrup, or it could be tapioca, depending on what you're looking for. But by using the oat or the malt, even, that again, it's kind of bar right is this custom blend. You could not, by adding those natural sweeteners with these different added health benefits, you don't have to, you're getting the sweetness, but without adding any extra added sugars or corn syrups or different items. So you're reducing your actual sugars while adding, so if you use the bar right, you're adding antioxidants, you're adding iron, you're adding, also it does a great job of shelf life. It protects against rancidity if you're doing like a nut bar or something else that would typically go rancid easily.
Yeah.
And then in cookies, the same thing. You could replace some of your added white sugar, cane sugars with our bar right, oat right, malt right, to kind of add. It also gives a very unique, different sweetener flavor to it, which comes out great.
That's great. What else is new with your plant?
So we broke ground recently on a brand new warehouse expansion. So if you go to our plant right now, you could see what used to be kind of fields and trees is now being graded out to be a brand new state-of-the-art warehouse to go with our state-of-the-art plant and expand on our current warehouse capabilities. So we'll be able to house a lot more products and have them in stock for even quicker. We already have 1 to 2 week lead times on products, but perhaps even quicker, and kind of stock even more of our products at a given time. So we're really excited to have these new holding capabilities and warehouse capabilities.
Not only that, right? I mean, we all have to remember, COVID times where things are stuck at the border. So if, you're really concerned about your supply chain, you got a huge warehouse there.
Yeah, and we are, you don't really usually have to worry about the borders too much because we produce domestically in Dayton, Ohio.
It's an impressive plant. And if anyone out there wants more information or want to try the products, please reach out to Joe. And if you want Joe to be part of your culinary process in terms of brainstorming, he is just a wealth of information. And I would suggest just send an email today. All right. Thank you,
Perfect.
everyone. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Of course. Thanks for having me.